This is the Toshiba T2150CDS notebook computer. As you may notice, it says T2130CS. In fact, this is the frankentosh. It's a T2150CDS in the T2130CS case. The reason it is in a T2130CS case is because the case from the original T2150 was completely destroyed by shipping, and well, the previous motherboard in this thing didn't work. So I thought, I might as well swap them over. T2150CDS features a Intel 486 DX4 microprocessor at 75 MHz, as well as 16 kilobytes of cache memory, which is directly in the processor itself. Originally, this computer would have shipped with a 256 MB hard drive, an external 3.5-inch floppy drive, and the internal 1X CD-ROM drive. And because this thing is a CDS, unfortunately it has the rather shit STN panel, which is a ghostry mess that just blurs everything, colours look like crap, and well, it just couldn't get any worse to this thing at the moment. Since the original drive in this laptop failed, I've installed a 2.1GB hard drive, as well as put Windows 95 on it, which it seems to run perfectly fine on. So now I'm just going to do the general overview. So opening up my laptop,1obviously, get your keyboard, you get your little nub, no mouse, or trackpad, 2 buttons, left click and right click. That's your display. And then we have the palm rest, and you may notice the palm rest has 2 little levers in it. Pulling up these levers allows you to pull back the palm rest and flip it upwards. From here you can access your removable battery, which is a NiCad battery which stores 2,800 mAh and runs at 12 volts. And then from here you can also access your sound card. Yes, this thing has a sound card, I will get onto that later. And the hard drive, which is screwed in from the bottom. Go over on the right side, once again we have our CD-ROM contrast sliders. On the rear we have our PS2 keyboard connector, serial, VGA, the docking port connector, the power input, because this thing has a built-in power supply, and your parallel printer port. And on the left side we have the power button, Kensington lock, external floppy, and your 2 PCMCIA card slots, and I currently have an Ethernet card slot in it. Going further, we have our line input, microphone input, and your headphone jack out, as well as the volume slider. On the front we also have a charging and a battery status LED. Now then, turning on the laptop, it's nothing special really, it's just your usual BIOS setup, and resume failure as always because the battery ran flat. This thing has 20 megabytes of RAM in it. There goes the hard drive. And as you can already see, the STN display is absolutely shockingly awful, but it will do. And it also runs at a 640 by 480 resolution, and there we go, here's Windows 95 booting up. And at the front here we have more status LEDs. We have your power, hard drive, caps lock, shift lock, and your FM key, which can also be used for typing in numbers. And on this laptop I have Windows 95 C installed, and obviously have IE 5.5. And there we go, there's our 486 and our 20 megabytes of RAM. Adapter of choice here is some random chips and text accelerator. Don't know exactly know what model it is since I can't really find much on it. And if we go down, scroll down, we have our ESS ES688 audio drive, which is providing sound to this computer. And as you can expect, MIDI playback on this thing works absolutely fine. And now I will go and test Doom, which is obligatory for something like this. So if we just shut down, we can reboot the computer into MS-DOS mode. I like the Sanyo. The hinges on this thing are also in pretty much perfect condition. And just as a side note, down there as well, you have a microphone. Now that we're into MS-DOS, well, as close as you're going to get on something like this. Into CD out there. I think it's now. And we should have games. Oh, we got Doom. There we go. And as you can tell, it runs absolutely fine. So yeah, the T2150CDS is actually a pretty good little machine. If it had the actual active matrix display, it would have been a very good DOS gaming machine even now. However, even with the crappy display, it is still a good DOS gaming machine if you connect it to an external VGA monitor. The keyboard, as I said earlier, is really nice to type on because it just feels good. And the track point works surprisingly well for the period. As far as these buttons, a bit flaky, but they seem to work absolutely fine. Apart from that, audio's great. Hard drive's easily upgradable and accessible. And yeah, so that's it. Thank you for watching this brief overview of this Toshiba, or frankentosh, or whatever you want to call it. So, and I'll see you next time. Apple sticker not included.